everyone, RemanX here, and we're going to go through a quick tutorial here. And so this is going to be how to do this sack on the Heroes for Hire, Kestrel for Hire team. This is in War. You guys will notice I do have the hanger buff, but I am getting defense down. So this is the nightmare. It isn't the really dangerous because you're not getting the 5 red Kestrel. That is a massive Kestrel though. So the problem we're going to have is literally we won't have a lot of time to act. Now I do have a big Shadowlands team. You're going to see as I fumble through my roster to try to find them. I've been playing around with some setup, and forgive me, it's not pretty. But realistically, we're going to show you guys how this team works, break it down for you, and likely there's about I think only about a 25% chance that you could fail to actually do this if your hanger's up and you have the appropriate power level. And let's get into that right now. So first things first, the most important thing you're going to see is I've kept my Electra as my lowest health character. It's very important that as you're gearing these characters up, and this is a problem right now in MSF, is they're starting to use more of the target character with the highest health, lowest health. These are things that you don't have control over as you're bringing up red stars. You can't rewind ISOs if you bring up characters. You only bring them up or swap them off to a different stat. But we're going to talk about that because this is something, we'll talk about that later. This is something I just want to highlight for you guys. So if you guys take a look on this screen, I just want to show you guys one more time. All right, so I've kept her as the lowest character, and this is important. The other reason why I have Daredevil there. He's 7 red star. If I bring him up too much, he might pull away some of the variants from the other team here. One thing I did do is I made it so that these guys got the early evade. Doesn't really help with a lot of the stuff is unavoidable from the team, but I've been the centerpiece with Moon Knight and White Tiger being the lion's share of the control element for this. We'll get right into it. So first things first, it's going to come down to very specific actions. There's going to be some flexibility with Electra's attacks, but you're going to want to hit Kestrel first, and we're going to get right into that. So defense down can happen with a bunch of adjacent rooms. So if you're this was insecurity, so obviously I didn't have any additional buffs from the team, and that's the big difference here. And you guys will see that's a pretty big Kestrel in a second here. Now I go after Colleen Wing. I don't know why I always target her, but it's my good luck charm. When I target a character, I seem, and this is, by the way, it's 3 of 6 buffs with the T4 in it. Clear all or debuffs, clear all buffs. So ideally you get slow and blind. This time the most important one did stick to her. So once this happens, if you guys get this to happen, where you get a blind on her, that's probably going to mean that you win this fight. Okay? If your Moon Knight goes with remember, this is only happening because the hanger's up. The hanger has become a very important room. We've been talking about that. I land that blind, I've got a really solid chance to win this fight. Regardless of the fact that, but I still have to play this perfectly because that is a massive Kestrel. So the next attack you do after you do Moon Knight's attack here, okay, is you're going to want to use the special. Now, this is a fully T4'd special with Daredevil. This is going to be important for what happens next. So you're going to see Daredevil applies counter to the entire team. This is the fundamental piece of this that helps us get this going. So once this is rolling here, she has no buffs. I don't need to hit disrupt. I just try to do a little bit of extra damage with the ability here. Again, she is still the lowest health character. She got pinged previously, so we want to make sure she stays that way. That was from the first attack. So we're just going to erase Kestrel. We want to leave no room for error. You want to make sure you get Kestrel off the board before she gets a turn. And if you guys take a look at that, right, that is a 6 red or 7-star 6 red Kestrel. Very dangerous. So we were able to get her off the board, and with the follow-up. And remember, that's what the reason why I have a striker. So now we just have to go into Colleen Wing, and it becomes mechanical. Now she has the slow, which is why I went in there with specifically with Night Nurse. So she hasn't even done her ult yet. Okay, he was blinded, and then here we go. So there it is. It's a big miss, And so the counterattacks will do a lion's share of the damage. These guys will not be done countering for a little bit here, and you'll see that she's already lost the charge. So having that happen helps you get through this fight. Now, she's no longer blind, but you got to try to reapply debuffs. Remember, those debuffs are canceled when she gets low. So here we go. So the assist from White Tiger, applying those debuffs, there it is, and she'll be relatively taken off the board. Now, depending on the size comparison, this may be a sustained fight. This will come down to like which characters are getting ability blocked by Misty Knight and the like here. And you'll see even if Electra dies, it's still very important that she remains the lowest health character. All right? So Misty's going to come off the board now, and that is all she wrote for these Heroes for Hire. Once this happens, it's almost mechanical. Obviously, she still counters at a high rate and leaves massive bleeds on there. We're going to save the big heal just in case we get something that we don't want to clear, and she has her special backup, and it's almost at the point where we can auto. So realistically, when we were talking about Shadowlands, the last time I did a video on this for the Kestrel for Hire, because we wanted to come up with a counter, we were very, very clear that this team has an isolated chance to straight up win. Your win scenario is getting that blind on Colleen Wing. And by the way, it's superstition at this point of whether or not the actual targeting her lands the blind. Let me know if you guys find with that results. I don't have enough data to prove it otherwise, but getting and killing Kestrel is all that matters. And if that's the case, because your lines doesn't have a better solution at this point, that may be the best way to go, just to make sure you don't just keep throwing teams at a large Kestrel Colleen Wing combination. So once your hanger goes down, this is not viable. Remember that. Once this goes down, you may be able to kill Kestrel, but it becomes a lot more dangerous. You don't get enough speed to get that control element off, and depending on how big your characters are, Moon Knight is likely erased from the board. So these are the mechanics. I do things so you don't have to. I've been saying that Shadowlands are probably the best attack team we've had in a long time that was player friendly. Okay, the fact that these were a campaign event, a blitz orb event, and more importantly, three characters that already existed in the game made this a very, very generous counter that you guys should be considering bringing up. So other than that, guys, again, we're going to have some more Heroes for Hire footage. I did capture some stuff with the Infinity Watch with Emma, by the way. Take a look at Travels' video. If you guys don't know who Travels is, I'll put a link to him in my description here. He has an awesome video showcasing the big difference. Now, what I will tell you, and this is a big warning, whenever there's a rework, typically characters wind up absorbing more T4s. So something that we've noticed is when a character is being brought up from the bottom of your roster, the T4s typically are something that has to be brought up with that as well. So just stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more. We have a video if you guys want to know everything about Shadowlands. Check out my library. You'll see a Shadowlands essential T4. I am locking down now that I do like the passive on Electra as a flex, depending on how often you're using them against teams that you can control where the damage is being done. Remember, love you much. Be good to each other and try to find some fun in this game. And see you soon.